Do you ever review something that looks like it jumped out of a James Bond movie? Well, that's what we're dealing with here today. We're taking a look at the Montek X1000 Tough, waterproof 1000-watt solar generator. Alright folks, welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed that little look around it. I definitely wanted to show you around it because this is a very unique product. This is something I haven't seen before in the world of solar generators. And this actually is a solar generator because there's actually a panel in it. So it's not just a power station, it does have a way to recharge itself via solar. Now this solar generator has 1,000 watts of power. It has a 1,010 watt-hour capacity, a cycle life of more than 2,000 cycles at 80% of the initial capacity. We'll explain to you the battery chemistry in this. It's a little bit different. It's not lithium iron phosphate. Okay, it is dust resistant, water resistant, does have seals all the way around it so that you'll be able to, we'll show you that in a minute, you'll be able to have this out in rain and not worry about it getting destroyed. Now with that said, it's also shock resistant. So when you're charging outside with all the case openings closed, you don't really need to worry if it rains on the unit. It also can be dropped. It's also in the style of a suitcase, which makes it much, much easier to carry. And honestly, it kind of looks big in the video, but it really isn't all that big. If you compare it to the size of my hand, say, I can easily pick that up and carry it with me. So let's get a little more in depth with it. I'll show you how it works. I'll show you some of the features, and then we're going to test it out and charge it back up. Alright, so before we get too deep into the weeds on the electronics of it, I want to show you how it opens, closes, and how the whole thing works. Because it was a little confusing to me in the start when I got it, and I'm like, they didn't send me cables. Where do I plug stuff in? What the heck? I finally discovered it, and it was like, how do I open those items? So, we're going to take a look first. We're going to pop the top here real quick. This is where your solar panel is going to be in this thing. Okay, and it will kind of hang down. There's your solar panel. For the uses of our playing around with this today, I'm going to pull it out for you to take a look. This is an 80-watt solar panel. Alright, I want you guys to understand that you may want to get a bigger panel to go with it. I like the fact that it's self-contained and can kind of keep it topped off using this. To charge it directly from solar panel would probably take around 16 days if from completely dead. Because remember, you're charging a big battery in here. So, as far as something to keep it maintained and keep it going while you're out camping, maybe you run it down to 90, you get it back up to 98, you run it down to 89, you get it up to 92. Something like this, very cool, very handy, and I like that. If I were using this for, say, a ham radio field day or anything like that, that'd be perfect. I don't need more than that. If you're looking to run this thing down every day and charge it back up, this does have a very high recharge capacity on there. We'll tell you that in a sec. But yes, I would get a bigger panel, or maybe even multiple bigger panels. But to come with an 80-watt panel, hey, you can't beat that. That's pretty darn good. So that's the panel. We'll get a look at it when we put it outside and charge it up. I'm going to stick it back here for now. So basically, that's it up top. You just have a little storage space up there. And you will need to fit the panel in. One of the things I noticed was putting the panel in there, sometimes the wires can hang down and block from it closing. You do have a seal all the way around here, rubber seals. This is sort of like a really high-quality Pelican case with very thick ABS plastic. So you are sealed up here. Even if this is open, you are sealed up, okay? Let's move on to the side really quick. This is going to be where your AC stuff is, okay? Pull this down and down. These are your two AC plugs. Again, it's a combined 1,000 watts. If you want to do 400 in one and 600 in the other, you got 1,000 watts. To turn it on, you're simply going to click that button. That's easy. It does come with a light. This thing's kind of heavy to use as a flashlight. But, hey, it works. We all know our SOS. Still don't know why they put SOS in there. Now in here is the cabling. We're going to all pull that out. Obviously I've charged it, so this is the charging cable. Now the neat part about the charging cable, no heavy power brick. This is it. Plug it into the wall, plug this in on the other side. We'll show you that in a sec. And there you go, there's your power. Okay? I like that. I hate carrying around those big heavy charging bricks, and also some of them get pretty hot. Next up in here, and this is a tight fit, just be mindful of that when you're putting stuff in here, is your solar panel connectors, MC4 connectors to an aircraft connector here on this end. This will screw in there. Yes, it is a non-standard connector, however, it is a waterproof connector, and that is why you can take this panel and even put it out in a sun shower, I guess, and charge the unit back up. So yes, that's the solar connector. And one last thing in here is your power connector for your car. Alright, there we go. Same connector again. Okay, and your cigarette lighter plug. Again, if you're going to charge this in your vehicle, while your vehicle is running only. Don't sit somewhere, put this on your battery, charge it up, because you'll have a dead battery. So that's this side. Let's move to the other side really quick. Here is the other side. And this is where all the other magic happens. You will have a fan here. There is another fan on the other side of where this stuff is stored. So, if you are running this in the heat and you want it to cool efficiently, you're going to want to empty that side out, take all your gear out of there, and let the air flow like this. It flows this way. You do have a regulated 12 volt outlet with 10 amps. That is regulated at 13.8 volts. Did test it. You have your barrel connectors here for your 12 volts at 7 amps. Two of your 18 watt times 2 here USB connectors. Two 12 volt barrel connectors at 10 amps. And your AC in for plugging in. And like I said, no big power brick. You're just going to grab this thing, plug it in the wall, charge it up. Over here is your waterproof connector. Now, I'll turn this off for a sec. You unscrew this here, and that is where you'll connect your DC in. We will demo that when we're getting it set up for solar. Really simple to do, nothing difficult. You're just going to line those 2 pins up and slide it right in there. So, it is a little non-standard, however there is a reason behind that. So, that is what it looks like and how it works. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about the power inside this thing. Okay. Really quickly. Now this does have a huge capacity. It's 1010 watt hours or 39 amp hours. You are using lithium ion batteries. These are those pouch lithium ion NCM polymer. They are the NCM polymer batteries. They're the same ones used in electric vehicles. You will get more than 2,000 cycles out of them. So yes, they're not lithium iron phosphate, but they're pretty darn good batteries. They are extremely lightweight too, I've noticed that. Your charge times, I'll give you really quickly the charge times. With the AC adapter, you're going to be about 3.5 hours to recharge this. With the AC adapter and an AC outlet, which you can do, 2.5 hours. With a 400 watt solar panel, 3.5 hours. Remember, that's only 80. With a car charger, 10 hours. And your AC output ports, you have 220 volt AC output ports, 1,000 watts. They will surge to 2,000, when initially a device kicks on. So this does have a bunch of internal safety with the battery management system in it for overheat, overcurrent. It will shut off if you draw too much current out of it. We did try to do that. I tried to put like 1,500 on here and it shut off right away. This also has pass-through charging. That's very important if you plan on doing like what I was saying. You're camping somewhere, you're in the middle of an emergency somewhere, you put this panel outside to charge, yet you still want to use this inside with your plugs or with your stuff over there. Yes, this will work. This does have pass-through charging. And you have the benefit of it able to be charged dual. So I can put this outside and still plug this in here if I have power, or plug it into another power station, and I can charge this up way quicker. Now they will say that the Montek 80 watt solar panel does have a better efficiency. It's about 30% better than other solar panels. So under the right conditions, the solar panel could give you up to 80 watts. The solar charging in line is the MPPT 12 to 70 volt, okay? So you can do 12 amps, 360 max solar input. You can do it in 3 hours, and with the 80 watt panel, it'll take, like I said, about 15 hours to get from a completely dead battery to a full one. In the wintertime, that's kind of difficult because you're not going to get that kind of time. So, told you all about it. Let's plug some stuff into it and see how it handles it. Alright, so we have the unit on, as you can see here. You do have how many watts you're drawing. I do have the power on the side here. We're going to use our heat gun, and we're going to make sure it's on low to start with. and see what we're drawing. You'll notice the fan's already running and we're already at about 660 something watts there. Okay, no problem at all, no issues. Let's take it to high and see what it will do. Alright, holding up at 12. That's pretty darn impressive. See the overload? So it did do overload, it did shut off. No problem, we just simply shut off the unit and reset it, and we'll go back to low. There we go. And we're back on low again. So it is nice to see that it will run that 1200 watts for a little bit before you get to overload. I was about to switch it off to let it overload, but you see it does work, so it's 1000 watts. Alright, awesome, good deal. Let's try it out with something else now. Alright, so really quickly, I want to make sure my USB ports work. Recently you guys saw me do all those TID radios where you're charging up the GMRS radio with its extra battery. So we're doing that on there. We do have the cigarette lighter adapter plug running the fan. You'll notice I have the fan facing away from us so it doesn't blow tons of air on us. And the front here, if I can bring you around to the front really quickly, is drawing about 12 watts. 12 to 13 watts, no problem on that. We're going to let that run for a little bit and see how those things hold up. And then we're going to take it over and try out something else. Alright, so we got it over here at my mini fridge. My mini fridge is right here. Okay. We're going to plug it in here. This is a mini freezer, actually. You're probably wondering why I have an extension cord up there. Well, here's why. With this type of setup, this cord does not plug in very well, you know, this way, because there's no room for all of this to go at the bottom of that plastic. So I just plugged an extension cord in. Now, I had it open for a little while here. We went up to 500 watts, down to 50. So there you go. That's running about 58, 57. It does have that initial burst. That's why I say I like the fact that this can jump to 2000 for that initial burst. Right now it's running about 56 watts, whatever. You know, because I did leave it open a little bit, so it would have to run a little bit. As you can tell, it's going up and down. So that will power a mini fridge for a good long time. Remember, these don't run constantly. Okay, this will run to cool itself down and then shut off for hours, as long as you keep it closed. If you open it back up all the time, you're going to have a problem. But this will run it for a good long time. And as you can tell, even with all the other stuff we've been running, we're only at 99%. So we're doing pretty good. All right, let's move it on to another thing and see how that works. All right, so one of the last things we're going to test on here is another sort of high drain device, and that is this hammer drill. This is an older one. If I remember right, it does around 500 to 700 watts. Could be wrong, but we're going to turn it on, plug it in back here, and get going. Yeah, and that is the only thing I noticed with the plug. I'm putting it in the wrong way. There we go. Was that if you have a plug that comes down this way, you're probably going to need an extension or an extender out because of this little door over here. Here we go. So I was getting about 200 on that. Let's put it on the hammer function. Yeah, 230, 290, runs it no problem at all. What I like is, do you notice how quickly that starts up? Right away, it's full speed. It isn't, some of the lower powered solar generators I've tried, when you turn it on, you don't get this. Right up to speed. It'll be a slow kind of, you know, so this definitely has the kick to power this. So you can see you can run that for a good long time, and it pulls a lot less current than I thought it did. I seem to remember this thing pulling like 500 or 600 or 700 watts. Anyway, now what we're going to do is run it down a little bit more. I'm going to leave it out here and run the studio lights on it for a little bit. Try to get it down a little bit lower, and then we're going to take it outside and charge it up with the 80 watt panel. So, see you in a few minutes. Just for a little bit of bonus footage here, I wanted to zoom in on the display there. We're getting about 805 watts there. And if you notice what I'm making some instant coffee. So yeah, that's one of the ways I decided I was going to draw this down a little bit, because charging it up from 99 is kind of boring. And look, we're at 98 already. So yeah, we got about 805, 806 going on there. The fans are running. It will run through there. You can feel the suction coming there and the air coming out that way. So, just a little bit of bonus. Alright, see you in a few minutes. Alright, so I wanted to give you a quick look at the setup out here. Really quick. Again, that doesn't come with legs or feet or anything to slant it on. So I just used my work chair and a water jug to prop it up there. It's not in perfect sun, but it's pretty good. And of course, here is the power station. There is the connector. we're going to get down a little closer there, and I'm going to show you exactly how this whole thing works. Alright, so this is the easy part here. We're going to get this guy here. I'm going to feed it around the camera tripod. You're going to notice there is a white spot on this, and there's a white spot corresponding on the plug. You're going to line those up and pull it right in. Makes it real easy. There are some slots over here, and that's how it will go perfectly down in that spot. Okay, there we go. Screw it in there. Let's see what the display is saying. Alright, so it's climbing up there. We're at 45, 47, 50, 51. Not bad. Not bad for the type of throw out of thing I had there. I just threw it out there. We're at 60 watts. I'm going to see if I can zoom you in and get you a little better picture on that. There we go. So we're getting about 61 watts out of that. And again, you're never going to get full power out of a solar panel. You know, if it says it's 200 watts, it's always going to be a little bit lower than that. There we go. Give you a little shade so you can see it. And that's what it'll look like. So we're going to leave it out here and let it charge up a couple of points. See how fast we can get that done. I'll time it just casually and see how we're doing. All right. Welcome back. So in about 15-20 minutes, went from 97 to 99. I did want to demo it charged, and it is plugged in back there. I haven't plugged it in on this side yet. We are going to plug it in. Let me get around this way to do it. And I want to show you how much power you're getting when you plug it into the wall. Okay, get that in there. It's already showing full. Anyway, they run about 2 to 250 watts when you are charging it from the wall. And it is showing full there now, so I guess that last little bit, you hear the little fan going. And by the way, the fans are very, very quiet. And again, for perfect ventilation, you want to make sure all of your cables are out of this side, and that side's open, so you get that air flowing through this way. You see the little icon going up there with the air. So I'm really liking the unit. I'll tell you right now, for me to have something that portable and that powerful, you know, I remember when 1,000-watt solar generators were like, you know, big, huge bricks of batteries. So for something like this, you really can't go wrong. It is compact, it's easy to carry, even comes with its own solar panel, which I did pack back in there. And I got to say, it definitely seems to do what it's supposed to do and perform very well. Even when we had it at 1,200 watts, it ran for about 5 or 6 seconds before it overloaded. And it can take up to a 2,000-watt surge. So if you have something that draws a lot of current when you plug it in, like say an AC unit, a smaller one, not a big one, you know, under 5,000 BTU and under, I would say, or any kind of appliance that draws a big surge when you turn it on and then goes back down, like we saw the freezer do, where it shot up high and then went down to like 56 watts. This will be able to handle it no problem. Definitely a cool little system. Now, they do sell it without the panel, so if you're interested in getting it without the panel, it'll be a little cheaper. I think the panel is a nice handy thing to have. I definitely enjoy the fact that I can take this with me and know that even if it took 15 days to recharge it from dead, I'd still get a recharge instead of going out there with absolutely nothing and no way to charge it. So I do like that fact. It is kind of handy. Mostly what I'd be using it for is to keep it topped off. You know, if I get around 89%, 88%, plug in that during the day, maybe while I'm not drawing a lot on it, let it top off, get it to maybe 90, 92, 95. That's cool for me. You know, if I'm going to be gone for 3 or 4 days, or during a power emergency where you know it's not going to last very long. Now, recently we did have a overnight power outage in town here, and, you know, there were a lot of folks who weren't prepared. And for something like this, now, you know, the cost on it's not cheap, but for something like this is really a one-and-done solution. You know, yeah, eventually you'll probably want a bigger solar panel, but hey, you know what? For this, for portability, can't beat it. I could also see some way maybe to rig this up on an e-bike, maybe a larger e-bike that has more capacity, and be able to charge your e-bike from anywhere. As these things get smaller and smaller and more powerful, that becomes more of a reality. So let's go over the specs really quick before we finish, and the price. The price is $1,099.99. So let's face it, $1,100. All right, and that includes the panel. Without the panel, it's in the $900 range. That's about right, especially with the fact that you got a waterproof, shockproof case in here. I would say that's a pretty darn good situation. I would not be tossing my Blue Eddy on the ground after, you know, using it, or letting it sit out in the rain, you know, after a rainstorm, or, you know, whatever. I wouldn't be doing that because I just don't feel comfortable with it. With this, you can see how this is constructed. You can see all the little areas here with the rubber grommets and everything. I wouldn't worry about this at all, so I think you'll be okay. Your operating temperature on it is going to be from 20 degrees Celsius to 40 Celsius or -4 to 104. We'll test that out here. Trust me, it's going to get hot out here. Your weight on it, 25 pounds with the panel. The car output port is 12 volts at 10 amps. It is a regulated port. Your DC outputs are, you have two 12 volts at 7 amps and two 12 volt at 10 amp outputs. They are the 5x25 sockets, little barrel connectors. You do have a USB-C. You got the PD100, the power delivery 100 watt. You have a 5 volt, 9 volt, 12 volt, 15 volt, 3 amp, and 20 volts at 5 amps. You really are going to get a whole lot of options with this guy here. Your quick charge ports, you can have two at 18 watts, 12 volts, 1.5 amp. You have a 9 volt at 2 amp and a 5 volt at 3 amp. Okay. Again, your AC output, pure sine wave inverter, 120 volts AC, 1000 watts, surge to 2000. Car charger will take you about 10 hours to charge. 400 watts of solar panel will do it in about 3.5 hours. I do have I believe a 200 watt one we could test that out with. The battery chemistry is that pouch lithium ion NCM polymer battery, and your capacity on it is 1010 watt hours or 39 amp hours. So all in all, definitely a cool little system. Very, very lightweight, easy to carry. It is 25 pounds, but honestly, you can pick this thing up and carry it. It's not that heavy. And what I like about it is it doesn't take two hands. Most of these solar boxes or power stations you have to grab with both hands and pick up. This thing I pick up like this, and I'm ready to go anywhere. So that is the Montek X1000. Hopefully we'll be hearing more from this company. I really like their product. I think they got a good, innovative, well-made product, and I am really, really impressed with it. And this is going to be one of those that I keep for myself because not only do I like the looks and the aesthetics of it, but it actually works very, very well. So don't forget to check the link down below. I will have a link in my Amazon store to this unit. There is a $100 off coupon. You know, one of those click under the price. You'll save $100. It's on Amazon. It's not anything from me. It's the little click underneath the price tag there, and it'll save $100. So you can save money on it. Below that is our Amazon store, which this will be in. And below that's our freeze-dried wholesaler link. Folks, if you have not gotten stocked up on food and you've been watching the news and seeing the moves in the economy, now is the time to start stocking up on food. Okay? We are going into situations that could really, really cause problems for our supply chains and our food delivery systems. So check them out, 15% off just for using my link. And they have everything there. I mean, they have everything from filet mignon to cheesecake. Everything freeze-dried. It's all very easy to use. You've seen me cook with it. I have a few more videos this month coming out where I'm going to be making some stuff with it. So definitely check them out and save 15% using my link. Below that is our My Patriot Supply link. That's preparewithiridium.com. You'll save $250 off a 3-month kit this month, and there's a sale also on the 3-week kit, so check them out as well. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. Good, clean, really well-made food. Definitely good stuff. You'll really like it. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.